Russian epidemiologist Anna Fedorova is devastated to learn of her partner Drive, Maxim Sadov's death, after he had tested their new vaccine on himself. After processing the news, Anna can't bear the guilt, so she quits her position and attempts to temporarily shut down the vaccine research project until further animal tests can be performed. A couple of weeks later, Anna receives a call from Colonel Yuri Morozov, the head of military intelligence, while she is celebrating the new year with her friends and is given a unique mission. The colonel narrates to Anna that unusual sounds have been heard at the secret research lab 12 kilometers below ground at Kola borehole, right after which 20 people went missing. The colonel adds that the head of the lab, Drive, Grigoriev, has been denounced for hiding data on an unknown disease. Requests she goes in to collect a sample before the lab is sealed and promises to credit her with the discovery of the disease and appoint her as the new head of Military Biological Defense Institute. If everything goes well, a couple of hours later Anna, the colonel, and a group of soldiers led by Major Sergei Makiev fly to the ice-covered secret underground lab in Murray. Upon their arrival, a mysterious man approaches their helicopter with a gun, withstanding all the gunshots fired at him before he detonates a grenade and kills himself. In the aftermath, Anna tries to collect samples from the apparent boils on the mysterious man's body, but fails as the grenade has left his body damaged. As she then proceeds to run tests on the mining staff of the facility to check if they have been contaminated, a miner named Zeman warns her to return home, claiming that she's been lied to and that hell exists in the underground facility. A couple of hours later, Anna and the colonel are welcomed by Drive, Peter Kuznetsov, the new head of the research facility, who reported Drive, Grigoriev's suspicious activities. Then Anna and the colonel are driven to the shaft to be transported underground. Drive, Grigoriev, who still works there, demands the group help him evacuate the rest of his staff trapped underground in return for giving them access to the elevator, for which only he has the passkey. The group agrees, and as they travel in the elevator through the shaft to 60 meters underground, where the staff resort is, the elevator brakes malfunction, and Drive, Grigoriev swiftly depressurizes the elevator, causing everyone to pass out, while he maintains his alertness by using an oxygen mask. Before anyone wakes up, Drive, Grigoriev steals the elevator key and escapes into the facility. When Anna, the colonel, and the rest of the team wake up, they find themselves 50 meters underground and start looking around the area, trying to find out all they can about what's going on. Then Drive, Peter explains to the group that the research lab lies on the base of the facility 12 meters below on an area called the Sahara, which means that the group is trapped where they are until they find the missing doctor. Major Sergei is furious at Drive, Grigoriev's unreasonable actions, and sends his men on a hunt to find the missing doctor. Meanwhile, the group walks around and finds the staff doctor, Drive, Kira, and the facility's engineer, Nikolai, waiting around in the cafeteria until they can be evacuated after finishing their shifts. Anna demands to test both of them, is relieved to learn that both are healthy, and so recruits Drive, Kira to help her. Anna then shares her fear with the colonel that Drive, Grigoriev might have trapped them there on purpose as there are no samples and infected people there, but the colonel shrugs it off. Moments later, Drive, Grigoriev shows up out of nowhere and pleads with Anna to walk everyone out through the shaft, as it is not safe for any of them to be exposed to the research lab. Anna doesn't humor the doctor and instead alerts the soldiers to his presence. The Drive narrowly escapes capture through the elevator, and the soldiers continue chasing after him. Anna is disturbed to notice pleas for help written all over the walls of the facility in different languages, and becomes more determined to find out what's going on. Major Sergei then orders Nikolai to wield through the shaft doors and gets his men temperature suits as they prepare to walk up and down through the shaft, looking for Drive, Grigoriev. Then all of a sudden, everyone is shocked to see the shaft door open from inside the shaft and hold their breath. Out comes a junior lab assistant named Olga, who has walked through the shaft all the way from the Sahara without even a hazmat suit. Anna and Drive, Kira help Olga, give her some clothes as she shivers in the cold, quarantine her in the infirmary, and try to find out what happened to her as looks run down. Upon further physical examination, Anna sees that Olga's back is covered in mold-like protrusions that she didn't even feel growing. Anna wonders how Olga survived such severe tissue damage, and upon studying samples from her, learns that she is harbouring a fungal cellular parasite The Colonel is happy to finally find out the cause of the madness and prepares to wrap up there. This it. Elsewhere, after looking everywhere, Major Sergei's men fail to locate Drive Grigorov, and so the Colonel is forced to have Nikolai attempt to override the elevator system to evacuate everyone. Drive Grigory figures out the group's plan, announces on the intercom that he can't let them fix the elevator, apologizes in advance, and blows up the whole shaft. In the infirmary, Olga's body starts deforming quickly, and she attacks Drive Kira while Anna is out trying to find help to soothe Olga and prepare her for transport. Anna returns to the infirmary with Major Sergei and is shocked to find the whole room covered in mold, while Olga lies molten on the ground but still breathing. The Colonel, who quickly follows Anna and the Major, reminds Anna to take samples, and as she proceeds to take some from Olga's body, a few fungi burst and release a cloud of spores. Unfortunately, the mare is engulfed by the cloud while Anna manages to get away and find a mass. Moments later, Drive Kira, who has completely transformed into another creature, rushes toward Anna complaining of how cold she is and tries to attack her. Anna successfully defends herself, but as she waits there for help, starts hallucinating about her late partner. A few minutes later, both Anna and Major Sergei are rescued, and Anna immediately has all her clothes fumigated with a fire extinguisher, hoping to slow down any growth. Then, Anna is sad to see that the Major has started showing signs of infection and she tests him. The Major confesses his romantic feelings towards Anna, which he subtly reciprocates. On the other side of the room, Drive Peter explains to the Colonel that Olga has probably returned to the mold colony to energize and come back to infect more hosts, underlying the fact that the mold infection is a continuous, excruciating process. Anna pulls the Colonel aside and reveals her discovery that the mold parasite's Achilles tendon is low temperature and explains that the snow surrounding the facility controlled its spread. She adds that if its host dies in a cold environment, the mold loses all its power and dies with it. She suggests that they must admit defeat against the deadly parasite, send the Major on his way with the proper biological hazard team, pack up, and leave the area as soon as possible. However, the Colonel wants to hear none of it, and shocks her by revealing that he wants to experiment and use the mold parasite as a biological weapon in the nation's military defense. He then asks her to help the Major get to Moscow for further study and kills her by accusing her of devaluing everyone's sacrifice. If she were ever to give up on the fight, the group wears their hazmat suits and prepares to travel through the shaft. However, this is interrupted by a desperate radio communication from the Major's soldiers, warning the group to stay inside and not open the door for anyone while gunfire shots are heard in the background. The group then decides to check on the soldiers, quietly open the shaft doors and travel through the corridors to check on them. After a few gunshots, a couple of soldiers come back, recounted that a large creature was chasing them, while a third one comes severely injured and slits his throat in front of them. The group then swiftly shuts down the shaft and descends down to the 200-degree Sahara research lab to get to the root of the problem. As his transformation proceeds faster, the Major stays back on the elevator while Anna, the Colonel, Nikolai, and Drive Peter make it to the lower level. There, they find a tape recording of Drive Grigoriev that details the evolution of the organism, in that it only started with attacking the muscular and nervous system of its victims, but now has learned to melt the bodies of its host together for warmth and power. They find the evidence of the doctor's discovery in the corridor as it's covered with molten hosts glued together by large areas of mold, and the Colonel finally starts realizing that he's in way over his head. The Colonel then bravely volunteers to go into the research lab to retrieve the elevator key from Drive Grigory after he apologizes to Anna for his blind decisions and gives her contact information of his military friends so that she can receive help once she gets out. Minutes pass as the trio waits for the Colonel's return, and they realize that he is in grave danger. Before they could process this revelation properly, Anna sets out into the spore-filled lab, hoping to find the key. There, she finds the Colonel dead and retrieves the elevator key from him, but becomes infected in the process. Out of left field, Drive Peter then threatens Anna and Nikolai to give him the key at gunpoint, declaring that he wants to be credited for the discovery of the mold and live in scientific glory forever. However, moments later, Drive Peter is attacked by a molten mold structure and becomes incapacitated. Anna then hides in the cafeteria, freezer, hoping to hide from the organism, and tries to do everything she can to lower her body temperature and slow down the disease process. Anna and Nikolai then evade multiple organisms and somehow make it to the surface elevator. As soon as they safely close the door, she notices the Major, who has now become more of a mole than a man. He feels her presence and begs her to do something, reminding her that they can't go to the surface and risk spreading the disease to the world. Anna then tries to crash the elevator, which infuriates Nikolai, as he just wants to get out onto the surface at any cost. After an intense fight, the Major uses one of his sharp, mold-like appendages to fatally attack Nikolai. Anna shares a moment with the Major and thanks him before he dies. Anna, now the sole survivor, and fighting against her transformation, tries to crash the elevator but finds it hard as she keeps passing out. Then, as the elevator reaches the surface, a hazmat team awaits at the door, drags Anna out and starts driving her away so that they can observe and study her. Knowing the dangers and the rabbit hole the research leads to, Anna steals a grenade from one of the soldiers, forces the team to stop the vehicle, and runs away on the snow. However, Thetum surrounds her and before she can pull the pin on the bomb, injects her with a tranquilizer, and takes her away to start the excruciating and dangerous research process once again.